When we speak about urbanization in Tamil Nadu, we usually talk about big cities like Chennai, Coimbatore, Madurai, and Trichy. But what if I told you that some of the fastest growing urban spaces in the state are officially not cities at all? These are the spaces where the city ends and the countryside begins. But in reality, they are neither fully urban nor rural. They are the hidden engines of Tamil Nadu's growth and they are in crisis. They look urban, they function urban, but on paper, they are still villages living with all the problems of urban life. This is the story of peri-urban Tamil Nadu, the invisible cities growing at the edges of our towns without planning, protection, or voice. Vanakkam. This is D. Suresh Kumar. Thank you for joining me in this episode of the Hindu Focus Tamil Nadu. Now, Tamil Nadu is one of India's most urbanized states. Nearly 48% of its population lives in urban areas, far higher than the national average of 31.2. The state contributes around 9% of India's GDP and hosts over one-fifth of the country's registered factories. Urban growth here is intense, continuous, and increasingly spilling beyond city limits. It is spilling beyond municipal boundaries into villages that are governed as rural but live like urban spaces. To understand this shift, the State Planning Commission, along with the World Resources Institute of India, undertook a landmark study mapping of peri-urban areas in Tamil Nadu and development of a sustainable urban management framework. This study is not just an academic exercise, it's an attempt to map the urban reality Tamil Nadu is already living in. In fact, the report calls this zone the missing middle of urbanization. So, what exactly are peri-urban areas? These are areas which are neither fully rural nor officially urban. They are villages on the outskirts of cities where farmlands turn into layouts, water tankers replace wells, industries arrive before drainage, and garbage comes but waste systems don't. In government records, these areas are rural. In real life, they are urban without urban rights. In essence, these are areas where governance does not transition at the same speed, and Tamil Nadu has a lot of them. Using satellite imagery, nighttime light data, and global urban classification methods, the study mapped Tamil Nadu's growth. The findings are striking. Across the state, you have 316 urban agglomerations. It was found that 37% of built up area lies outside municipal limits. Every district in Tamil Nadu, except Chennai, has peri-urban clusters, but planning is not keeping up. To understand what this looks like on the ground, the study zoomed into Coimbatore, one of the fastest growing regions. What followed was a great revelation. For instance, Kudampalayam, which was a village until recently, is now swallowed by the expanding city. Its population has expanded from 13,000 to over 15,000 in just 14 years. But water supply, waste management, and land records, they all still stuck in 2011. So Coimbatore's peri-urban villages face unplanned land conversion, polluted water bodies like the Noyal River, shortage of staff and technical capacity. But yet residents resist merging with the city because they fear higher taxes, a loss of rural welfare schemes, losing control over local governance, and so they remain stuck urban in function, rural in administration. This is not just the case with Coimbatore. Even Hosur has expanded. In fact, it has witnessed a 75% peri-urban growth in the last 3 decades. This governance gap has consequences. These peri-urban areas are, number one, more vulnerable to floods and heat, poorly connected to water, sanitation, and water systems, environmentally fragile with disappearing wetlands and green buffers. They absorb population growth, industrial expansion, and climate risk without planning safeguards. In short, peri-urban Tamil Nadu is where growth is fastest and governance is weakest. So, what's the way out? The study doesn't just diagnose the problem, it prescribes a framework for a sustainable fix. Number one, we need to legally recognize peri-urban areas, create special transition agencies at district and state levels to manage this change. Number two, we need to use the blue, green, grey infrastructure methods, create lakes, parks to manage floods, recharge groundwater, etc. We need to adopt plans that look beyond city limits, introduce transitional development controls, rules that fit hybrid zones. Basically, we need to tailor water and waste systems to local geography and not adopt a one size fits all approach. There's also a need to blend funding, government schemes, corporate CSR, and local taxes to pay for it all. The message is clear: urbanization must be managed as a continuum, not a binary choice between village and city. Peri-urban Tamil Nadu is not a fringe issue. It is the future of the state's urban growth. The question is not whether these areas will become urban, the question is whether we will plan for them before they pay the price. Tamil Nadu needs a dedicated rural urban transition policy, a clear roadmap to guide this inevitable growth. Let's hope the government frames this soon. On that note, this is D. Suresh Kumar signing off. I shall meet you in another video. Thank you.